What's up, everybody? I just ate dinner. So, today I want to make a video about why I decided to live in a van. And why I'm doing van life or whatever. So, it's short and sweet to make this short and sweet because I know everybody has a small attention span. Here's the deal. Alright, I used to go to a lot of punk shows, concerts, weekenders, and all that. And instead of getting a hotel, I started, I was tired of the hotels. Like, I was fucking, like, I'm at a hotel right now. I'll probably get crashed here tonight. I was tired of fucking hotels being filthy, the people that ran them, and, just the general hotel experience was getting worse and worse no matter what I paid for it. I could pay for a $200 room for a weekend and it was bad, whatever, right? I could have a hotel and a casino because I like to go in the casinos and it will be fucking terrible. And, you take a UV light that's come everywhere. It's like, you know what? Yeah. So eventually I started sleeping in my Jeep, right? And when I started sleeping in my Jeep for the weekends and punk trips and all that, I slowly started to bring food and, a bag of clothes and all that. It's a very, very slow process, right? And my skateboard. And eventually I got tired of that, but also, I lived in my Jeep for a year, basically, and, I had my clothes in there, I fit everything into a Jeep Cherokee, 2015 Jeep Cherokee, not very good. It's a base model, nothing else on it. No roof rack, no tow kit, none of that, right? But I can go anywhere I want. It had great gas mileage. I can go anywhere I want, didn't have no issues, and I was free, Before I moved in my Jeep, I was like, my brothers, my sisters, my friends, some of them have lots of jobs or, lots of money jobs, and they're just struggling every week, they're complaining online about bills, about this, about that, about being a homeowner, being a renter, yard maintenance, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, this is the American dream? Like, I was like, man, I want to be free. I don't want to deal with any of that stress, I'm a minimalist at heart, I don't play video games. I got rid of all that stuff. I used to have that. That's why I needed a house for. That's why I needed an apartment for, to play video games. I've made a living off video games for a number of years. YouTube, Twitch, streaming, So that's why I needed a house, for that income, right? That was back when technology was like that. But now today it's all different, blah, blah, but censorship and all that. Now here's the deal, when I moved in my Jeep, I didn't need video games or any of that. I had hobbies outside of work, yeah, so this year I got this Chevy Express van, and it's just a no build right now. It's a no build. Right now I'm trying to get this oil leak fixed, and then go from there. I got roof racks. Yep. So I could put solar panel up there very, very soon. Maybe some, camping stuff, my BMX bike up there, blah, 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 blah. Here's the bottom line, I want freedom, but I wanted more comfort and luxury in a way. Like in the rainstorms, I didn't want to be tied just laying down the Jeep or just one seating area. I could be in the back, maybe playing guitar, watching movies, or, making food, I can't do that in the Jeep. Yeah, I can, but it's very, very difficult, as is a car, You see those things on YouTube, but that's all for show. Do those people do that every fucking rainstorm? Probably not. Yeah, I didn't want to be strapped to bills. I didn't want the stress and all that. And this year I decided that I didn't want to work a full-time job 24/7. What I want to do is work summer and winter where it's the hottest and coldest, and then relax this time of year in the spring and the fall where I can just enjoy nature, sit outside my van, do crossword puzzles all day, or watch movies or whatever, and just be free. Not strapped, don't work for the damn man, and just be free. I've tried the rat race with the corporate world, and I'm 28, and at 27 I figured it out, like, you either have it or you don't. You either kiss ass or you don't, and obviously I'm not a kiss ass. That probably explains why I have a mohawk, and it's always spiked up and all that. So anyways, yeah, I have, my bed back there for me. I could fit 2 people easily. I just gotta move it out from the wall, just move it out a little bit. I got cooking underneath my van. I got everything I need, right? I got a lot of non-perishables, shelf-stable food, and then, the stuff I can cook. Usually I just go to Walmart or whatever and, get 2 steaks and I cook both, and then I'll eat the next one the next day and the first one today. That's what I usually do. And I'll even eat it for a midnight snack, and then I'll take the rest of the work or whatever. For breakfast, it's usually oatmeal or 2 eggs. Simple stuff. And I actually have a job where I could cook there. I could cook. I have a new wave oven, or whether they call those things air fryer. So like I'm hooked. The only thing it's missing is a bathroom or a shower. Locker room. If I had that, I'd be cooked. Or a gym. I had a job like that, and they kind of screwed me. So I walked down them. I said, I'm done. I don't need to be treated like this. I deserve better. I know I'm better than this, and you guys are just trying to screw me. I'm done. Good luck to all of you. And I walked out of there, my head held high. Having those kind of jobs is great for this kind of living. You can work as much overtime as you want. Go in the parking lot, sleep, and do it again the next day. People have been doing that for years and decades, But, to the point, the reason I decided to get in the van is because I wanted the freedom to do what I wanted to do and not worry about money and have the luxury. Now, a lot of people say, well, you got to do repairs, and if you stay on top of the maintenance for the cars and all that, you'll be fine. But I also wanted to, have my BMX bike. I also wanted to just have everything in one thing. Now, to do this, you got to be a minimalist in a way. You got to, jam everything in the van, so to say, that you need. I only have a 9-day supply of clothes, and that's for regular and for work. For work, it's like 4 or 5 work day of clothes. I got 4 pants, or 5 pants actually, and then I got 5 t-shirts and long sleeves. Perfect, So if I'm outside or inside, I'm good. Yeah, and everybody asks me what you do for mail. I'm like, well, sometimes friends let me use their mailbox. I don't get much mail. I don't have. I get billed lists, T-Mobile, whatever, or Mint Mobile, whatever I have now, or Visible. I try as much as I can to get bill list mail, for bills, and just come online, because that's the way to go. It's just everything today. Everything that you need in an apartment, you don't need no more. You got TV right here. You got phone right here. You got a computer right here. Well, you can also, have Wi-Fi anywhere. So when people like me that are single, well, I'm not actually single. I have a beautiful girlfriend that I love very much, and she's not totally into this lifestyle. She's actually visiting me this weekend for Philadelphia. So we're 2 hours apart right now, basically, and we see each other on the weekends. She's not into this lifestyle yet. I'm trying to get her into it. Slowly. She'll catch on. Like this weekend, it's supposed to be like 30 degrees at night, but like when you're in the van and you have a comforter and you have a wool blanket, you don't notice it. But she's like me when I was 8 years ago, 5 years ago even, where like I was like, I'm not gonna sleep in the cold. I'm not gonna sleep in a van in the cold. I'm like telling her, like, babe, it's camping. It's literally camping in a van. You're literally camping outside. It is nothing different, I have a tent if you want to sleep in that too, but yeah, I mean, everybody asks where do you take showers at? Gyms. Period. I just wear flip-flops in there, and then I get my disinfect spray. I disinfect the flip-flops for bacteria and all that before I hang them up in the van and air dry them for an hour and then drive off. A lot of people ask where to go to the bathroom. Well, usually I'm in the urban areas or I'm at work or whatever, so I'm always having the options. I just bring my book bag in, disinfect everything before I take a shitter or whatever, But if I'm in the boonies, which I'm really never not, I'm never really out in the country. I have a bucket right behind me, right there. There it is. And I just put a trash bag in there, shit right in there, and then just throw it outside. Or just dig a hole and throw it in there and be done with it. That's what I do. Yeah, I can also just dig a hole, squat, and it comes right out. I don't have to sit. That's the healthy way. You're calling, it's like this when you're sitting. When you're standing straight, squatting, boom. It's like a geyser. So, when a lot of people ask me these questions, I give them straightforward, and they don't like laugh, and I'm like, well, you can laugh all you want. People have been doing that for thousands of years. The things I'm talking about, people have done for thousands of years, I can make a campfire outside if I'm in like the woods and or whatever. Do I get police and people that ask me to leave the property? Sometimes. Usually no. I usually change my locations. Some of them are like, outside out of mine, or, keep the space clean, you're good. And then other people, cops just want to, push their ego around sometimes. They'll just come over and, say shit. And I'll be like, am I breaking the law? No. Well, then they ask the property owner to trespass me just because they want to stroke their ego. That's what they're doing a lot today with homeless people and people that live in their cars willingly. yeah, I mean, it's not the 80s or the 90s anymore, but it's way more fun to be in your van and live. You save so much money. I don't have to look at my bank account every day to figure out what I can afford. Figure out, what can I do today that won't stress me out financially. I don't have to kiss ass. I don't have to do any of that stuff for a job. And I'm free, Um, and that's what I'm trying to, it took me a while to figure this all out and see that it is true. And, like this isn't a crazy thing. It's actually, smart than, working for the man and joining the lifestyle of everybody else in the world, right? I'm a punk rocker too, so I have a background. So whoever a cop pulls me over, or, checks up on me, they ask to search the van for any drugs and alcohol, because you can't have alcohol in your van. If your keys are in here, that's a DUI. If I'm sitting here, that's a DUI. Even if I'm in the back, that's a DUI. So usually, if I'm gonna drink, if I haven't drank for 2 months, I had gastritis, so my stomach's all sensitive, blah blah blah. So I don't drink right now. I probably won't touch a beer again. I don't know. Me and my girlfriend I'm pretty much done drinking. She'll drink here and there, maybe with friends. Like, I'm talking like once a month, maybe. But me, I'm like, I don't feel like drinking anymore. I just, you know, if maybe I'm at a punk show, I'll do that. But, this also helped me stay sober and all that. Like, I can hide drugs all day, but I don't want to, I'd rather be clean and clear-minded and, if I'm at a punk show there, I'll fucking relax. I'll smoke a bunch of pot, whatever, But being in this van, helped me clean myself up as well. Um, a lot of people ask me, what do you do when you have to go to the airport and fly away? Well, I can just drive this into the airport, right? Can do that. The funny thing is, I've done these things where I will go away for a couple days. I'll literally park on the side of the highway, put a t-shirt there, come back 5 days later and pick it up, and like the cops didn't do nothing about it. They usually wait like 7-10 days and then tow it or call blah blah blah. When you put the t-shirt on the side of the highway, side of the road, it's basically like, hey, I'm coming back to get it, blah blah. Sometimes I'll put a note, and yeah, even when I'm at work or somewhere, I'll put a note right in the dash that tells people, hey, just leaving it here, went with a friend, blah blah, I'll be back at this time, call me here if it has any issue, blah blah blah. People ask if I break down, what happens. Well, I have a roadside kit actually under my bed. I have a jack, I have everything I need. I just got a new spare tire under the van that cranks down, so I don't have to worry about that. Now, I can do small repairs on my van, like let's say air filter, oil change, whatever, but like big jobs, obviously I can't. But I do have AAA, and AAA is basically 3 times a year they tow ya, blah blah blah. But like, I haven't got towed once. I think with this van I have not got towed once. And my Jeep I've got towed twice in 5 years. So yeah, I mean that's about it, man. Like the camping technology today for your living in your car or whatever is so advanced, my buddy's like, you could go from a van back to SUV to a car, and then you're probably gonna go to a motorcycle. I'm like, you might be right, man. I bought this for a couple grand, right? And if I really wanted to, and I put the solar panel on top and actually retrofit this, I could sell for 15,000-20,000 easily. Without installation, I can, sell for $10,000 at least, probably 10 to 12. If I put the fan in there and that insulate it, like I said, 15, 20 easy any day. But just fixing the van up and, doing some stuff, I've already made it worth $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 more than I paid for it. Right now it sits, I can get probably 8,000-9,000 out of this. I would say 8,000-9,000, yeah. If I do some more stuff to make it more of a camper friendly van, I can get 10,000-11,000, and then, or maybe even 12. And you add in, if I put the solar panel, insulate it, make it all true camper stuff, build a loft in the back, boom, 15-20, easy any day, ready to go for any adventure. You don't have to do nothing. So yeah, everybody asks me, where's my fridge? My fridge is under my bed too. So there's that. I don't really use it that much, I don't really drink soda anymore. I drink tea, but tea's a shelf-stable, thing. Green tea all day and water, that's what I drink. I don't like soda. If it's soda, usually it's probably Dr. Pepper. But, yeah, honestly, I own the stock Dr. Pepper, so, if I use something, I own the stock of it usually. But that's just how it is, man. That's how I enjoy this life, You know, you see back there, I got my punk jackets, metal vest, and all that. So I go to a lot of metal punk shows and all that. So I have hobbies outside of here. I play poker, jam in a band, you know, maybe start a band, you know, this and that. So when you in this lifestyle, you want to have hobbies, because having hobbies is key. Is key. Because you get bored, you get lonely, and that's how you avoid it. Now, if you're out west in the boonies, you know, there's nothing I can say. You know, just stay on the internet, whatever, go into group chats or whatever, Discord, blah blah blah. I don't have no video games. I know you can get video games on that. I just don't care about video games anymore. I don't. You know, once I got screwed on YouTube and Twitch, I basically just withdrawed out of the gaming stuff very slowly. But I did it. Yeah, I never thought I'd do that, you know. But you know, I was hooked on video games. I was dominating leaderboards and you know, just speed running and blah 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 blah, competitive gaming, and you know, I never thought I'd leave my lifestyle behind. But you know, years ago, I decided to call it quits. You know, I was done with the bullshit. So now I'm in my new venture, you know, and it's funny, like I said, my girlfriend kind of is okay with this, but I don't think she approves of it, because like I said, she's coming this weekend and she's like, I'm not sleeping in the van for 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours and go on the train station next day. We're getting a hotel. I was like, okay, babe, you know. But I'm really thinking about getting a UV light, taking it in that, or in one of these hotels, and like, so we paid $200 for this room for 9 hours. Look at this cum everywhere. Look how disgusting he is. Babe, I don't care. I'm like, okay. Living in my van, I don't gotta worry about that, because, well, I don't really have to, you know. But everybody asks what you do for laundry mat, period. You know, so like, you gotta find your balance, and this is mine right now. If she ever decided to move in my van, it'll be definitely after I get the loft done in the back. She lives down in South Philly, so having this in South Philly is near impossible for parking. But if I decide to move to Philly, I will sell this van and get a motorcycle instead. And let's say one day we break up, I got money left over to buy a van, you know, and just do it all over again. Basically, do it all over again. Even if I get a shit van and just tow it somewhere to a parking lot, get it fixed there, or just live in there until I get kicked out and get towed somewhere else, I have the ability to do that. So, like, I've answered all your questions, I believe. Yeah, I guess I'll title this Punk Rock Van Life. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. But, yeah, I think this answered all the questions about anyone that's asked. You know, if you're punk, you know, if you're not into van life, then you're not a punk, period. If you'd rather be in a hotel, I'm sorry, you're either corporate punk, where you only go listen to Rancid and, you know, fucking fashion punk bands and shit, or you're a fucking poser, period. People like me, punks like me, right here. You know, everybody's like talking about, oh, this and that. Well, you crack your windows at night. You don't gotta worry about condensation, mold. Oops, yeah. Electric's off now. You don't gotta worry about that. Crack your windows at night. That's why I have these rain guards, you know. And, you know, you don't have to worry about condensation. Mold, you can get mold in a house, dude. You can get mold in a boat. You can get mold anywhere. Anywhere. Just you spilling a drink in the car. Under that foam is mold growing, period. So I just love when people criticize my life and they're living paycheck to paycheck or have cars they can't afford, brother, and shit like that. I'm just like, yeah, it's whatever, dude. Like, I stopped competing with other people. I stopped trying to compare myself to others and compete with other people at 27 years old. I was like, you know, I'm going to live my own life and be damn proud of it. And that's why I am proud to live this life. I am proud to, you know, have financial freedom, never look at my banking app and wonder if I'm going to be able to afford this tonight or blah, 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 and have freedom, you know. And I think people are just jealous of my lifestyle, you know. I think my girlfriend might even be jealous of my lifestyle, because one, she probably doesn't understand it that well, and neither, I still don't, and two, because I have no bills, and she does, and, you know, I can easily help her live this lifestyle, period. You know, we can go to the dirt tracks, we can do whatever we want and not worry about money. And during the day, I could pull up to an abandoned lot or industrial district, and we could just camp out on the sidewalk and watch a movie, read books, whatever, you know, and enjoy life and be in life and just enjoy nature. You can't do that when you have a house, you have this and that. You know why you can't do that? Because, well, it's the obvious. It's money. And you don't got money because you're paying your house, you're paying that huge electric bill, gas bill, water bill, sewer bill, taxes, this tax, that tax. You got to pay for your home insurance. You got to pay for your car insurance. Stacks up quick. And some people I know have 2 jobs right now, or they work the weekends. I'm like, fuck that, dude. I've done that for a little bit. And I'm like, I'm done. I would do it here and there maybe just to have a little extra cash, for upcoming trips. But like right now, because how financially free I am, I can drive right now down to Disney World or Miami Beach or whatever and come back a week later and get a new job and not have to worry about pay because I'm saving $1,000 a month at least. That's like the cheapest thing around here. That's in, whatever, $1,000 a month at least. All utilities included on this. And everybody's, well, your van breaks down. Hey, it breaks down eventually anyways, right? It's not like I'm driving this 300 miles a day. I'm driving it to work, to my spot, and that's it. And that's pretty much it. I can get shit DoorDash to me if I wanted to, just like a house. I can get everything like a house I can get in here. And that is why I choose to live in a van. It's not easy starting off. It's a little scary, but you just wean yourself into it. Do what I did. You go to concerts a lot. Start, going to concerts, but stop doing the hotel. Just go in your car or SUV, van, or whatever, and live like that. Start off small. Weekend runs, maybe a one-night weekend run, and then, live in your car for a week. After work, just pull up somewhere and just stay there all night, and do it again and again and again. And eventually you'll be like, yeah, you're right. You have to wean yourself into it, but eventually you figure out your balance. You figure out how to make everything work for you and, how to accommodate you in a small space, quote unquote. And, you learn to, figure out how to deal with living in a small space that works for you. And you find your comfort level and all that. And then eventually, you don't need an RV. You don't need a bus because those cost money. You want that kind of comfort, you need to have a big emergency fund. Like I have emergency fund. So if this thing gets in a wreck, I got money set aside to get a hotel for at least 3 days and figure things out, right? Figure that out, get another van or a car or whatever. Even get, rent a van, a U-Haul, put all my stuff in there and use that for a couple of days until I figure out a car, right? I have no payments on this. I paid all cash for this, by the way. That also, like, I'm not really mechanically inclined. I'm learning to be. You know why? Because this is my home. I have to learn to be mechanically inclined to fix my home, or I gotta pay $1,000 or hundreds of dollars for labor or whatever, for oil change or whatever, So, like I said, man, I'm gonna wrap this up, but like, this is why I live in a van. Punk rock van life, why I do it. I guess I'll call this video. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment, whatever. And I'll talk to you guys in a video very soon. So, if you have any questions or asking that I didn't cover in this video, or you want to know some more stuff, tell me in the comments. Anyways, have a good one. Bye.